and welcome to the 64 doors. Today we're going to open door 60. Behind this door we have the archetype of the magician. The hexagram goes from the shadow frequency of limitation to the gift frequency of realism and the civic frequency of justice. So what does that mean? We can start looking at it from the body graph perspective. So we have the 60s gates that comes from the root center and meets gate 3 that points down from the sacral center. Together they form the channel of mutation, a design of energy that fluctuates and pulses. So the 60s gate has this inherent pressure to mutate, the pressure to bring something completely new to the world. However, without the energy of the third gate, it can't really do anything, or it can't decide when mutation is going to happen. And also we know that the gate 3 is the difficulty at the beginning, because mutations cannot just happen all the time. Then everything will be very chaotic. Mutation kind of have to, be worth it. And they are part of like the evolutionary process. So it's a trial and error, but it's not just something that happens all the time. So there is this feeling of like having to wait for it to be able to happen for the 60s. And since it is the individual circuitry, there is a lot of melancholy in there. In the 60s gate, it kind of comes out as depression, because it has this longing for change, but everything it sees around it is limitation. And of course, that's very depressing. And what it says, it's that it's the gate of acceptance. So only by accepting the structure and the limitation, something new can actually happen. Because it is when the vessel cracks and the old is kind of falling apart, that something new can grow up from the old, from the soil of the old. And when that happens, this gene key becomes really magic. It's like these people that saw only limitations before and could see the structure, and even maybe they hated them and they became very unstructured, or they became very rigid within the structure. Suddenly, since they have lived that reality, they can have a very common sense, a very realistic sense about structures, and they can start using them to build a future, actually. So they really become the magicians that can use the structure and be balanced. Not too much structure, not too little structure. And it's actually the banks of the river that makes the river be able to have a direction and go forward. So without the banks, without the structure, it's very chaotic. That's why we need structure, but we need to kind of hold it loosely and not be bogged down by it. And that's like the magic with the 60, that once it kind of comes out from the depression, you can really see that and do that in the world. And for this gene key, I wanted to read a little part of Rosie Aronson's Wisdom Keeper, because I really feel like the gift of this gene key is very well explained in her way of seeing it. So it says, "My gift to you, I bring to you a love of realism and common sense. I want you to stay connected to your ideals and visions without losing sight of the practical aspects of the creative process. Just as the seeds need a shell and a river needs banks, your dreams need you to understand the inherent structures of the world so that you can bring them to life. Do not see these structures as stifling or forever lasting limitation, but as supportive vessels, perfectly designed to take you where you need to go and no further. Remember to keep the heart of your dreams close, while holding all system, religions, and mindsets lightly. Get comfortable with uncertainty. Think outside the box and use playful language. Seeming plateaus don't mean nothing is happening. Everything of true value lives within you. So be the eyes, the ears, the mind of your universe, and soon you will be making magic." Yeah, so I really just love this. It kind of gives us inspiration, even if we don't have the 60s gene keys in our makeup. And I would also say, what you can use for this gene key is really, playing with your limitlessness, to knowing that even if it looks like everything it's kind of blocking you, you're still limitless, and to play with that, to not lose the vision. I feel like that you have that perseverance that you always have in the root center, that you need to persevere even when it feels kind of difficult, whether it's whether it's the 38 in the struggle of or the 54 that is trying to ascend but doesn't know how. So this is a similar energy. And since it is magic and a little bit ungraspable, I would really, advise you to take advantage of all the resources that are going to be posted behind this door. There's even going to be a longer video, and we have guests or featured ambassadors behind it that are really going to give you a lot of their view and their resources, so you can tap into this archetype. So yeah, have a fun week in this magic jinky. Bye.